I'm Dave Kassler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG. I'm here to answer your questions about amateur radio, particularly questions from those new to the hobby. This is episode 14 of Ask Dave. Today's video explains a simple CW QSO and comes as a result of questions about Ask Dave 13, which introduced CW operating. Viewers wanted more details, so I'll walk you through a very typical CW QSO of the kind you'll encounter as a CW newcomer. As we go through this QSO, we'll encounter abbreviations, pro signs, and Q signals. I'll explain each as we encounter them. Our two stations are the fictional woman Nancy, WA1XYZ, shown in blue, and Ahmed, NA2XWU, in red. Here Nancy wants to talk to any other station, so she first ascertains if the frequency is in use. Remember this general rule of thumb: listen, listen, listen before you transmit. Next, ask using the Q signal QRL with a question mark, which inquires if the frequency is in use. If you hear any response, it means that it is in use, so tune a little ways away and ask again. In this case, Nancy hears nothing, so she calls CQ. CQ is essentially as old as radio and means that Nancy is willing to have anyone answer her call. She keeps her CQ call to the point. 3 times she sends CQ, then DE, which means from, and then gives her call sign. Why give her call sign 3 times? So that someone who has just tuned across the CQ has an opportunity to tune their radio properly and copy the call correctly. Nancy then ends by sending the pro sign K. A pro sign is a letter or a couple letters run together that have special meaning. In this case, K means she is finished with her transmission and will now listen. Ahmed hears the CQ and 0 beats her signals so that he will reply on or near the same frequency that Nancy is using. He gives her call sign 3 times. If conditions are spectacularly good, once may be enough, but 2 or 3 times is normal. Ahmed also sends DE, meaning from, and then sends his call sign 2 or 3 times so that Nancy can copy it. Having done that, he uses a slightly different pro sign. Recall that K at the end of a transmission means that the other station should go ahead and transmit. In this case, KN, sent as da-da-da-da-dit, without a space in between the letters, means that Ahmed only wishes to hear from Nancy and not anyone else. Nancy is delighted that someone has answered her CQ. So she calls Ahmed at NA2XWU, then DE, then her call sign. That way Ahmed knows that she's answering his call and not someone else's. Now let's decipher the rest. TU is an abbreviation for thank you. FER, F-E-R, is easier to send than F-O-R. So Nancy is saying, thank you for your call. Next, she sends UR, which in ham radio is an abbreviation for your. The RST is the abbreviation for readability, signal strength, and tone, usually referred to as the signal report, which in this case is 579, meaning perfect readability, good signal strength, and pure tone. Then she sends the pro sign BT. Note that this is not B followed by T, but rather B and T run together, sounding like this. It's a handy separator for thoughts. She then sends her name. Hams go by given names, hence the Nancy. Again comes the separator. She sends QTH, which is the Q signal specifying location. She sends Atlanta, followed by a comma, followed by GA, meaning Georgia, then a question mark to indicate that she'll send it again, Then she sends it again, followed by another separator. Nancy is a budding CW enthusiast and wants to trade straight key Century Club numbers, so she gives hers, with NR meaning number. She then wants to turn it over to Ahmed, so she asks, "So how copy?" meaning she's asking Ahmed how well he's copying her transmission. Then she sends Ahmed's call sign followed by hers and the prosign KN. Ahmed replies by first sending her call sign, then his. The R in this case is a prosign, meaning Nancy's signal has been copied completely. If Ahmed had not copied Nancy's signal completely, he would not send R, but would ask for a repeat. In this case, he got everything. It's common to send R more than once, though you don't have to. Next, Ahmed sends FB, which means fine business. That's a ham radio expression meaning things are good. He acknowledges her name, which not only tells Nancy that he copied it right, but it's just nice to use the other person's name when you're conversing. He sends his name, literally, name here is Ahmed. Note the here. It's not necessary, but it is so common as to be nearly universal. He gives his QTH. Note that he doesn't use any punctuation. That's his preference. It's usual to give the QTH twice, so he does that. He simply provides his SKCC number. Note the use of NR in front of his number. I don't know why, but everyone I hear giving his or her SKCC number prefaces it with NR. Then he asks, how copy, or how do you copy? Then he sends a prosign, a new one here, BK, run together. It means I am breaking my transmission so I can listen to yours. I often hear this as a B followed by a K, but properly it is run together, da 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 da, or like this. I pause here to note that at this point the QSO, meaning the conversation between two hams, could be considered complete. In normal practice, for a QSO to count as a QSO, 3 pieces of information need to be exchanged, usually signal report, name, and location. And if you're brand new to CW, you might end here, wipe off the sweat, make sure you've copied everything correctly, and then enter the QSO information in your log. But most CW QSOs go at least one more round. Nancy acknowledges Ahmed's break with one of her own. She sends R to indicate she copied everything, again fine business, and acknowledges Ahmed's name. She says, nice to meet you, then proceeds to tell Ahmed about her station. Rig here is ICOM 751 into, meaning transmitting into, a vertical antenna. She says her weather is too cold. Her age is 37, usually sent twice, and she's been an amateur radio operator for 2 years. She abbreviates the how do you copy into a single word with a question mark, a practice that's common. She then indicates a break. Ahmed chooses to reply in kind. He acknowledges her break, indicates he copied everything, and then tells her that his transceiver is a Yaesu FT747 and his antenna is a dipole. He's 17 years old and has clearly really dived into CW because he's been a ham for only 3 months. He reports his weather by saying, weather here is warm and sunny. He then signs over to her. Note here that he only says DENA2XWU rather than giving her call sign also. This is fine. Nancy decides to end the QSO. She gives a simple break, indicates she received the signal, and then says fine business, thanks for the QSO, which counts for SKCC rewards. She said that she hopes to see you later. The number 73 is from the old Phillips telegraph code and means simply best wishes. I note here that the use of 73 is customary at the end of all QSOs, and you really should include it as part of normal conversation. She then sends Ahmed's call, then hers, then the prosign SK, again run together as da-da-da-da-da-da, or the SK means that she is done transmitting, but she will listen for Ahmed. Ahmed answers briefly. A simple break, then the BT separator. Note he gives it twice in a row. BT, da-da-da-da-da, used as a universal separator between thoughts, is also the telegraphic equivalent of Then he indicates he received, says thank you for the nice conversation, then see you later, then 73 sent twice. He then sends her call sign, his call sign, and then the SK Pro sign. Now that's officially the end of it. However, it's very common to then send two dits, not as the letter I, but spaced a bit. The other operator customarily answers with two dits, and it's over. Is there any reason to end a QSO here? No, of course not. After the formalities are exchanged, a QSO can wander anywhere. But what I've provided is a simple pattern that will both help you to decipher what you hear and carry on a simple conversation with Morse code. So have at it. I hope you enjoy the new world of CW. Normally, I show a picture of Colorado, but I came across this picture in my files and thought I'd share it with you. This is Griffith Observatory in Los Angeles and is a place that figured large in my childhood. I can trace much of my fascination with technology to the exhibits here. It was built in 1933 to 1935 by the Works Progress Administration using money donated in Griffith J. Griffith's will. The building is filled with exhibits and has a first-rate planetarium that gives frequent shows. A lovely place, and it still inspires children to delve into science and technology. Be sure to subscribe to my channel to get notification of future Ask Dave videos. I try to cover a huge variety of topics based on the questions and comments I get from you and other viewers. You can send me a question as a comment to this video or by using the form at ke0og.net/ask-dave. If this video has been particularly inspirational for you, there's a tip jar on my YouTube channel page and another on my website at ke0og.net. Keep those comments and questions coming. Until next time, 73.